Now, human rights groups have warned that the political situation in Thailand is spiralling out of control after 3 months of increasingly violent protests. Demonstrators in Bangkok accuse the Prime Minister, Yingluck Shinawatra, of corruption, but they've been criticised for trying to sabotage the country's elections on Sunday. With the government under siege in the capital, we sent our Asia correspondent John Sparks to the Prime Minister's stronghold in the north of Thailand. See what our supporters there were prepared to do.
They call Bangkok the city of life, but city of rebellion is more like it. For the past 3 months, militant middle and upper class residents have been marching and cheering and clogging up the streets, calling for the removal of Thailand's Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra. Roads have been seized, government ministries shut, and the city police, well, they're nowhere to be seen. An anti-government leader has been gunned down in broad daylight, and protesters man barricades at night, with the sound of more gunfire echoing through inner city streets. In response, the Prime Minister has done little. She seems increasingly isolated, unsure of whether the country's all-powerful military backs her.
I think you have to ask for the army.
She's not just struggling with Bangkok's middle class, however. The revolt is spreading beyond the city's boundaries into the heart of rural Thailand. If Yingluck and her influential brother Thaksin have a political future in Thailand, it probably depends on the people who live upcountry. The farmers, the traders, the small businessmen, who are also known as the red shirts. And we're on our way to see them now. We drove north along Thailand's main artery into the fertile central plains. And we soon found hundreds of rice farmers blocking the 6-lane highway. Once considered staunch supporters of the government, this group say they're switching sides.
If you want to arrest us, well, come on, it's our money.
Yingluck's government promised high prices for rice, but these farmers say they haven't received a penny in 9 months.
We've started to realise we've been duped. We'll vote for parties that are more honest in the future.
It's one of hundreds of roadblocks that's popped up in the north, and the police showed no interest in stopping it. Isn't the result a sort of lawlessness?
We have the law, but just look at Bangkok.
Community leaders told us the situation was so desperate that some farmers had taken their own lives. And in nearby Pitchit, we met a mother and daughter grieving the death of the family's breadwinner.
We've had 3 harvests but received no money. It's like throwing the rice away, and it made him so anxious. But he wouldn't talk.
3 weeks ago, Mr. Jan Deng went to work, but he didn't return. They found him in the fields, the source of so much grief.
Do you think that the government's rice scheme played a significant role in his death?
Yes, it did. We had so much debt and he was stressed. We couldn't harvest because we couldn't buy the fertilizer we needed.
Further north on the Asian highway, the government still has friends in the city of Chiang Mai. Around town, posters of Yingluck and her brother Thaksin, a former prime minister, haven't been defaced. Residents grateful for government programs like cheap healthcare and student loans. What's more, they regard the current leader as one of their own. Red shirt DJ Nok Gawang is one of Yingluck's oldest friends. They went to school together in Chiang Mai.
She never wanted to be Prime Minister, you know. I used to tell her that she should follow Thaksin into politics, but she told me she wasn't interested. Talk to my sister, she said.
But she's the Prime Minister now, and Mr. Gawang told me that people in the north are prepared to fight to keep her.
When you say fight, what do you mean?
When the time comes, there could be bloodshed and a lot of lives lost, but we are willing to make that sacrifice.
With violence and ill feeling growing, the gap between both sides seems unbridgeable. As we left Chiang Mai, we found a group calling for this weekend's election to go ahead, despite the attempt of protesters in the south to sabotage it.
Oh my goodness, I don't know what's wrong with those people. They go crazy.
As the authorities cede control, there is a risk this country could split in two, and no one seems able to stop it. John Sparks, Channel 4 News, Chiang Mai.